Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jen. If you're new here, welcome. And if you have been with me all along, you just don't know how much I appreciate that. I do have some people that watch every single video I put out. Thank you. I love you. But I'm sorry I didn't get a video up on Sunday. I have been doing a lot of overtime at work because of the weather. This snow and ice has made the weather really bad. And for those of you who don't know, I dispatch tow trucks. So when the roads get bad, people have a tendency to slide in the ditch, they slide into each other, and well, I have to do overtime. And while we're on the subject of the weather, let's keep the people in Texas and Oklahoma, but especially in Texas, in our thoughts and our prayers because a lot of them are without power and without heat, and they're not used to the freezing cold. So, let's just keep them in our thoughts. And Valentine's Day, well, it's not just a holiday for the kissy kissy love love sort of thing. It has its roots in the pagan celebration of Lupercalia. And like most Christian holidays, most of them, they do seem to have their roots in paganism. Now, don't come for me. That's just what I read. That's what the facts are. Most Christian holidays have their roots in paganism. And probably because, when Christianity came, then they tried to mix some of what there already had the religious background of the people that they were, coming into, and they mixed it with the new religion. That's probably the only reason, or maybe they were just stealing from the pagans. Who knows? Who knows? But, anyways, from February the 13th through February the 15th, the Romans celebrated, and we're talking about ancient Romans, they celebrated Lupercalia. And this Lupercalia is started with a feast. And now, Valentine's Day is a spin-off of this celebration. The Romans would get drunk and naked. And they would sacrifice a goat and a dog. And is from what I read, the dog is only sacrificed on this one day because it is a reverent animal to the wolf. And you'll see why in a few minutes. But during this celebration, there are two priests, two different sets of priests. They would go into the cave and sacrifice the dog, and then they come out and they would rub the blood of the dog on each separate group, and then they'd wash it off with the goat's milk. And this was to signify peacefulness between the two groups. And then they would make whips out of the hide, and the women would line up and the men would hit them with these whips, right? And they believed that this would make them fertile. And it wasn't a painful thing. It was more like a playful thing. Like, ha ha, I got you. You're going to get pregnant this year. And anyways, during this celebration, it was like a matchmaking lottery was held. And the women's name was put in a jar. And then young men would draw out the names of the woman he would be paired with for the duration of the festival. So for those 3 days, this man and woman would be coupled together. And at the end, of course, at the end, sometimes this match was right and the couple stayed together. But let's look back at the legend that got all of this Lupercalia started. Okay. Um, there was a king named King Amulius. I think I'm saying that right. Amulus. Okay, so he was an ancient king of Rome. And this king ordered his twin nephews to be thrown into the river Tiber, or Tiber, I think it's Tiber, um, to be drowned because their mother broke a vow of celibacy. I don't know about y'all, but there is no way I could keep a vow of celibacy anyway. And I'm assuming that the twins were a result of this broken vow, and the king, therefore, wanting to get rid of them. Anyways, there was a servant that was given the awful duty of putting these babies into the river to drown, to throw them in. But she felt bad for them, and instead she placed them in a basket and put them on the water instead of in the water, so they just floated away. And the king would have didn't know any better. He thought they were drowned in the river, right? So they floated down this river, and the basket got caught on a tree branch. And the twins, they were then rescued by a she-wolf. And the she-wolf took the babies back to the den and cared for them. Now, later on, the brothers, they were taken in by a shepherd, um, but they never forgot that they were taken care of by this she-wolf. So after they got older, the uncle who ordered their deaths when they were babies, they killed the uncle, and they named the cave that they were raised in, they were brought up in, they named it the cave den. They named it the she-wolf Lupercal. And it's thought that the first Lupercalia took place to honor the she-wolf and to please the Roman fertility god Lupercus. Now, Lupercalia was violent and sexually charged. And y'all thought Valentine's Day was all hearts and kissy face day. Not true originally. It was bloody. Not just from the animal sacrifices. Oh, and let's not forget, everybody was naked. It was brutal, and it was like brutal matchmaking and random sex, and all of this was in the hopes of warding off spirits of infertility. Y'all, Valentine's Day uses some of the Lupercalia symbols, whether intentional or not. Like the use of the color red, which represents the blood sacrifice, and the color white, which is meant to signify the milk used to wash the blood clean, and it also represents new life and procreation. And remember, I was telling you about those priests that come out and they put the blood on and then they wash it off with the goat's milk? The Romans, they may also be responsible for the name of our modern day of love. There were two men named Valentine, both executed on February the 14th, but in different years in the 3rd century. And of course, these men were made into martyrs by the Catholic Church. And the Catholic Church also gave them a day that they called St. Valentine's Day. And in the 5th century, St. Valentine's Day was mixed with Lupercalia, and voila, modern day Valentine's Day. No, really, Pope Galasius, he actually combined the two to try and expel the pagan rituals. He was trying to get rid of the pagan rituals. But of course, y'all, Christians put their clothes back on them. Because we all know that Christians don't believe in showing your nakedness in any form or for any reason. Personally, skyclad is the best. You were born naked, and you're not taking them clothes with you when you die. that is a Christian form of keep yourself covered. Sorry, y'all, I never believed in that. The holiday became the sweet, lovey-dovey holiday thanks to Shakespeare. And he romanticized it in his work, and this caused it to gain popularity throughout Europe. And during the Middle Ages, handmade paper cards became the token of love. Now, the Industrial Revolution, they brought about factory-made cards in the 19th century. And when Hallmark Cards of Kansas City began mass production of Valentines in 1913, Valentine's Day was changed forever. It became completely commercialized holiday. The day to show that special someone you love them with cards, flowers, and jewelry, right? So why do we need one certain day to do that? If you truly love someone, don't you show that someone every day? Now, Valentine's Day sales reach $17.6 million a year. And y'all, it's all our fault. It's all our fault. It don't cost anything. It don't cost anything to tell the person that you love them, to show that person you love them. And nowadays, we have mixed views of love. We have the rigid, you can only love if you're man and woman. And you have the, people who think like I do, like love is love. It don't have no age. It don't have no race. Don't have no color. I mean, you fall in love with who you fall in love with. Your heart chooses for you. And it doesn't matter about culture. It doesn't matter about background. It doesn't matter who you are. Your heart is going to love who your heart wants to love. But whether you celebrate with that special someone, or we have these people that celebrate alone, and it is known as Single Awareness Day. And we all celebrate that in one form or another. But Single Awareness Day, I read, is dining alone, buying yourself chocolates and those famed long red roses. But anyway, some may even be celebrating that way the early Romans did. They may be celebrating Lupercalia. But Lupercalia is no longer a public celebration for obvious reasons. But some pagans still recognize the ancient event, and of course they celebrate in private because we're not a tolerant people by nature. We need to have tolerance for other people's beliefs, but if we have a celebration out there with naked people and drinking, y'all, we going to jail. So you can't do that. And Christianity changed a lot of points of views of how the old ways was done and changed it to the new. And the one thing that I never really cared for when it came to the Christian belief is they believe that you either believe the way we believe, or we're going to kill you, or we're going to punish you, or you're going to hell. But who's to say whose religion is right and whose is wrong? It doesn't matter either way if you celebrate Valentine's Day or you celebrate Lupercalia. Happy, happy Love Day. And the hippies have it right. Love each other. Love each other. It's not hard to show your neighbor a little bit of kindness. It's not hard to hug your wife, to hug your husband. It's not hard to be tolerant when you see those two married ladies holding hands, or that couple of men arm in arm. It's not hard. It's not. Accept it. It's the way it is. It's the way the world is today. And just enjoy Love Day. And that's all for me. It got a little bit longer than I expected. But sometimes it does. Anyways, I probably won't be editing this video, so I hope y'all enjoy it. And I will see you on Sunday for